If an alien civilization sent a message, it might not be a sentence. It might be 72 seconds, and then silence forever. On August 15, 1977, a radio telescope called Big Ear detected a strong, narrowband signal from the direction of Sagittarius, right near the cosmic frequency scientists call the hydrogen line. Days later, an astronomer named Jerry Emin reviewed the printout, circled the strange Data 6 EQU J5, and wrote one word in red ink: "Wow!" And here's the part that still hurts. They never heard it again. Big Ear wasn't like modern telescopes that can spin and lock onto a target. It did something creepier. It waited. It stared at the sky while the Earth rotated, letting the universe drift through its beam. So every point in the sky had a time limit, a brief window, and then it was gone. That night, Big Ear recorded a signal that rose, peaked, and fell exactly the way a real celestial signal would look if it drifted through the telescope beam, not a random spike. A shape, a signature? And it lasted for the full 72 seconds, the maximum time Big Ear could observe a fixed point during its drift scan. People still think 6EQ-UJ5 is a coded message. It's not. It's simply how Big Ear's computer encoded signal strength over time, a quick shorthand for how intense the signal was, second by second. Still, it reads like a secret, like the universe typed something and meant for someone to find it. Big Ear had 2 feed horns, 2 listening ears, pointed at slightly different patches of sky. So, if a steady transmitter was out there, scientists expected the signal to repeat in the second horn about 3 minutes later. It didn't, and that single detail split the mystery into 2 terrifying possibilities. Either it was a one-time cosmic event, or something close to Earth that moved, stopped, or vanished. Here's what people forget: the team wanted to recheck immediately. But Big Ear didn't turn like a normal telescope, it drift scanned. By the time they knew what had happened, the sky had already moved on. So they did the next best thing: they tried again. And again, and again. Months of follow-up searches? Nothing. That's why the WOW signal became legendary, not because it was the loudest thing ever heard, but because it was perfectly timed and then never repeated. There's a reason 1970s SETI researchers cared about this frequency. The signal sat near the hydrogen line, a naturally important frequency in radio astronomy, tied to the most common element in the universe. If you were going to choose one universal radio channel to say hello, that would be a smart one. And Big Ear's data showed the signal was narrow band, the kind of tight, focused emission that often triggers SETI interest. So the public did what the public always does. They turned a mystery into a message. They imagined a voice, a civilization, a warning. But science doesn't get to wish. Science has to explain. Over the years, hypotheses came and went. At one point, a comet idea grabbed headlines, suggesting hydrogen clouds around comets might explain it. But astronomers pushed back. The timing didn't fit. Comets don't emit strongly like that at those frequencies. And it still didn't explain why it would appear in one horn but not the other. So the WOW signal stayed in its most dangerous form, a single event, the kind that can be anything because it only happened once. Recently, some researchers have proposed something more unsettling than aliens, a rare astrophysical event. A sudden brightening of a cold hydrogen cloud, possibly triggered by an energetic source like a magnetar flare could produce. A brief, laser-like radio emission called a maser near the hydrogen line? That idea doesn't solve everything, but it offers a new way to see the WOW signal, not as a greeting, but as a cosmic accident so perfect it looked intentional. And honestly, that's almost scarier, because it means the universe can accidentally imitate intelligence and trick our instincts with one clean minute of radio light. Think about what makes this story impossible to forget. It wasn't a movie clip. It wasn't a rumor. It was numbers on paper strong enough for a trained scientist to stop, stare, circle it, and write the most human word imaginable. Wow. And then nothing. No repeat, no source, no confirmation. Just one question hanging in the dark. If the universe can produce a signal that looks like a message, how many other messages have we missed because they were shorter than a minute? Or because nobody was watching the printout that day? So what do you think the WOW signal really was? A one-time cosmic event, a rare maser flare, or something no one has imagined yet? Drop your theory in the comments. And if you want more real mysteries the world still can't fully explain, like and subscribe to Secrets You Never Knew, because the next secret might only last 72 seconds.